Okay. So first and foremost, I will set up my environment, and what that environment will be, the Python environment. Or let me check Python that I have installed on my machine. I've got Python version 3.13. It can be 3.13, 3.12, whatever. I believe the latest is 3.13. You can check it out. Well, so I'll say Python 3. The first thing that I'm going to do is create a virtual environment. I'll say -m. I'll say mvenv -m venv virtual environment. And what is the name of the folder in which it will create the virtual environment? I'm saying env. It can be anything. This can be yabadabadu. This can be abracadabra. It can be anything. But I'm just giving env as the name of the folder. So I'll just wait for some time. And now you see this, I do have a folder called env. We know very well in this env folder, we have got the libraries and stuff and all. And then I can very well say source env/bin/activate. If I do this, that's what the source is. In your case, it is script. Script is the name of the folder, and I'm sure you'll all know that. So here you are. I just simply say now Python - version, and I'm going to get 3.3. I'll say pip - version, and I'm going to get pip. See this? So I can just simply, do the installation and stuff and all. But this is empty project. I just do not have anything as of yet here. We will do everything from scratch, step by step. And I already have a project. I will look into that project, and from that project, I will start creating the entire folder structure. So अब मैं जाऊंगा मेरे IntelliJ में. And I strongly recommend for Python also you use IntelliJ. I strongly recommend. You must use IntelliJ. And you find out when you go to IntelliJ, you say settings. And when you go to settings in community edition, I'm sure that is available. You go to plugins and you have to just simply search for Python and you will get the Python plugin available. Can you see this? On my machine, it is installed. If this is not available, then I'm sure Python community edition is available hoga hi hoga, and you can very well go ahead and install it. In my case, also both are installed actually. See, correct. So once you have installed this, you will get, this IDE will become, full-fledged support for you to write your application. So I'll just, stop this server, and I'm going to minimize this. I'm just minimizing this, or else I'll just keep this as it is. What are the correct? So I'll say file, I'll say open. I will not say new because I have already created a folder. So I say idea projects, I'll say trainings, within trainings, Django training, and I'll just say open. Okay, here you are. See, this env folder is out here. Though I will never ever touch this env folder, I will not do anything in this env folder, but I can still see that env folder and I will keep it as it is. Suppose I just create a new Python file out here just for the sake of testing. Okay, and I'll say main.py, suppose. Okay, and in this, I just simply see black formatter integration. Black formatter executable is detected in the try black formatter integration. No, I don't want that. Okay, so here I'll say import OS. Now, the moment I do this, you see it has started giving me the error. Configure the Python interpreter because IntelliJ does not know which Python runtime environment am I supposed to use. Which Python interpreter in the very first place is supposed to be used so that it can interpret my code and help me to get it executed. उसको नहीं समझ में तो वो मुझे कॉन्फ़िगर करना होगा. वो करते हैं हम लोग, and I'll say print and I'll say f, right, and I'll say the OS is, and suppose if I wanted to print the name of the OS, I'll say os.name. But वो OS ही नहीं मिलेगा मुझे, कुछ मिल ही नहीं रहा है मुझे. Print is also giving me an error. Why? Because I have not configured. So I can click here and configure. There are two ways. I click here and it takes me to the configuration. Then I click on project and I do the configuration. Or else the standard way is again this. I can click right mouse button on the project in IntelliJ. I can say open module settings. Or else there is also an option over here. I can click here and I can say settings. No, the settings will take me there. Okay, this is the best way. I'll click here and I'll say open module settings. Here I'll click on project, not on modules, but I'll click on project. Here I will say that I want to configure add Python SDK from the disk. That means I already have that and I will configure it. So I'll click here. I'll say existing environment. I don't want to create a new environment, new virtual environment. I have already created it from my command prompt. Now it says select the one that is already there. Otherwise, I click here and I will select. Can you see there is an option of project directory? When I click on this, it will automatically take me immediately to the project directory, Django training, within that env, within that bin, and within that, in your case, as I said, script vagara is the some name of the folder. And then I go here and I select Python 3. Okay, and I say okay. I click on OK. Now everything is cool. I say apply and then OK out here. And now you will see for yourself the errors are gone. Here there is an option of executing the current file. If not, then just select that file. And I just do this. You can see this POSIX. POSIX is actually the name of the, it's a Mac machine on which the underlying architecture is POSIX, right? And so on. Then OS, I'll just, if you say OS, I think it will print the, no, it's more modular. Okay. Okay. OS dot. See what all options are available. Name is available. Many things. CPU count. How many CPUs are there on my machine? That means how many threads can execute? 8 threads can execute at one given point in time on my machine. So here you are. Your Python program is running. Plain simple Python program. But now I want to create a Django. What is Django framework? See this now. I'll just go back to my drawing board once again. And I will say create a new diagram and I'll say apps. Okay, I'll say building apps, or else I think we had some draw.io already created, I believe. था हमारे पास Chrome में Google Drive पे था. Apps 3.0. Yes, here you are. So I'll continue here so that you already have always have access, and I'm sure you already have access. Now see this. I'll say web development. Okay. Now take a look at this architecture here. What is it that we want to do? We want to do web development, or maybe we want to build RESTful APIs. We will talk about RESTful APIs more in detail later. But then what are the technologies that we have available? One is we have got as a programming language, what we have is Java is the programming language. Then we have Python as the programming language. Then we have TypeScript as the programming language. Okay, or you can directly code in JavaScript. That's what we have. Now, what we have here is that on top of Python, so if I just simply select Python, if I take Python as a programming language, there are loads of things that I need in a typical web-based kind of an application. And if I keep on hand coding all of those features that I need in a web-based application, it will be very difficult. For example, reading the HTML file, reading the content of it, rendering it, creating an HTTP server, all that stuff will be a huge and a mammoth job for me to do if I just simply start doing it using plain Python or Java. So what they have done is that they have created some fantastic frameworks. What those frameworks are? For Java, the framework is Spring Boot. Spring Boot. For Python, the framework is Django. And for TypeScript or JavaScript, the framework is Next.js. There can be other frameworks. There are other frameworks also available. Fine. For example, instead of using Next.js, I can use Express Server, and I can use plain Node with Express Server and stuff, and I can do that. But then otherwise, these are the most extensively used ones. We have already built our sample application on Spring Boot. Now we are in the process of building a sample application for Django. Please recollect that Spring Boot had its own structure. The application, Spring Boot application, had its own structure. Similarly, Django application will also have its own structure. Now, as you all know, I am basically a Java developer. I have just started with Python. So as far as the Django structure is concerned, I won't be able to put things like MFOs in here. I will have to take a look at the project that we already have in place. So I will just bring up that project. But don't worry, I'm just taking up the structure from here. So take a look at the structure. This is my application out here, and within that, these are the folders that we have. env is the folder in which again I have the environment. So here also I have got env as the folder, which is the environment. What I'm going to do here is that I'm going to click right mouse button and I say mark directory as excluded. So it will not show me that directory at all. I don't need to see that directory here. Also, in fact, I'll click right mouse button and I'll say mark directory as excluded. So I don't want to see that at all. So apps config core tests. Again, I will create only those things that are really needed. So what I'm going to do is that I will create a new directory out here. Okay. Now see this. I'll just check whether this directory apps. Okay. It's a package. I have got inid.py out here. So I'll say Python package. Can you see this? There is an option of Python package. And I'll create a Python package. How do I get that menu? Command N. In your case, Control N will give you that menu. And I will say apps. So I can have multiple applications here. When I say apps, these are different services. Or you may also call them as modules. But here in Python, each and every .py is better known as modules. But here I'll just simply say this is a package that I have and I have created it for a particular purpose. Within the package, again, I can have many packages. Why do you create these packages and stuff and all? So that you can manage the complexity. Instead of dumping all the files into one single folder and thereby, creating entire mess and chaos, you can organize, you can structure everything properly. So apps is the folder that I have. And then in this apps, I will create yet another Python package and I will give the name of that as customers, customer management, customers. Here also we created in Spring Boot customers. Here also I'll say customers. Then I have yet another folder out here, which is very specific called configuration. Config is what I have. And in this, if I need, again, that is not really mandatory. So I will leave it as it is. Core is what is very important. So I'll create core. I'll minimize this for the time being. Yeah. So I'll just go back and I will create a new Python package out here and I'll say core. So I have core here now. So you see this, I've got apps, I've got core. Under cores, there is something called settings because I need to do the configuration. I need to do what? The configuration of my Django application. There will be a lot of configuration. And there is a lot of data that will be coming from my configuration. I'll give you a simple example why is configuration needed. See, for example, I go to base.py. Now, which is the database that I'm going to connect to? This is the database that I'm going to connect to. This is the configuration. Mongo client is once and for all created, and then I can reuse the Mongo client a number of times. And then there are so many things that are configured out here, which origins are allowed, which methods are allowed, and so on. So this configuration is important. So what I'm going to do in core, I will create something called settings. Within core, I'll create something called settings, but not a directory, but a package. Package is also a directory, but I'll say settings. And within settings, at least I will have one file to start with, and that will be a Python file, and I'll name it as base.py. You can see this base.py. If I have different environments, development environment on your local machine, then production environment, QA environment. So I will have multiple configuration files out here. But as of now, I will just simply say base.py. Got it? I'll just keep this as it is, base.py. And there are some important modules that I will really need to configure over here. Let's see what those modules are in my existing application, and we will configure only those things that are really needed. Okay, that's what we are going to do. Can I expect you all to get started with at least this much? Make sure that I am doing one thing now. I will just say appearance and I will say excluded files, show excluded files, so that you can see that ENV also out here. Okay, I want you all to create the project. Let's go step by step. Please create the project exactly the way I have created. Open it up, set up your module, set up your project, write a main.py only and only to make sure that your application is running so that your environment is well set, and create all of these folders that I have created. I have not just created them as folders, I have created them as packages. Get started, friends. First complete this, then only we proceed further. Let's go slow. Come on, get started. Let me know if you have any doubts, any questions. Right. Okay. Please see this. All of you, please pay attention. I repeat, please pay attention, friends, all of you. All hands off from the keyboard. Let me first explain. Let's proceed further, and then you can do things on your own machine. Now see this. We are supposed to do the configuration. Now let me complete the configuration on my machine. And if it works, once it works on my machine, then you all can start doing it on yours as well. But Till that time I do not finish doing this on my machine, you all also please do not start. Okay. So there are certain things that I need to configure for sure so that my application works. And first and foremost, the very important thing here is that I need to install in my environment Django. That's what I need to install. So I just go back over here. I'll go to my requirements.txt, which I already have, right? And I'll just bring this up out here and I will copy paste it here in Django project as well. See this right here in the root of my project. I'm going to copy this requirements.txt. And do not worry. It's not that you have to do all of these configurations, and you do not need all of these libraries. So I'll just remove the ones that we don't need. I'll just remove all of these. I'll keep Django. Okay, and this is also everything that is related to Django. I'm going to keep it. I will share the same with you all. I don't need Redis. I need time zone, so let that be as it is. I need the REST framework. I don't need this DNS Python and stuff and all, Faker, all that stuff I don't need. So let me remove everything else. I will share this with you all, don't worry. Okay, so Django related stuff I have kept. So I'm going to copy this and I will give it to you all over here in our Telegram group. Okay, you can take you can use this later. Now you see, why is this giving me this line out here? The reason being I have not yet installed everything. So it's always better that you create a file like this in which you configure all your libraries. Now, this is fun. See, I'm configuring my libraries out here. How did we configure the libraries for Spring Boot? You remember? What was the name of the file? Pom.xml file. You remember? We used to configure things here. We configured things here in case of Spring Boot. In case of Python, we will configure it in requirements.txt. I'll just go back to my terminal here and I'll say pip install, making sure that my source command is already executed and I do get my env out here. Install, I'll say -r and requirements.txt. That's it. Now you see this, it will start installing everything. Right? All the libraries that I need. If at all I need some other libraries also, which I might have missed, I will install them later. But then as of now, I think this should be sufficient. I'll just upgrade my PIP also. Done. So I come back over here and I'll just simply close this. You see, I'll just, we have got the CNV, I've got lib, and you can see this Python, all Django related, everything else, it's all installed. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my settings and my base.py, and I will see, okay, chalo. My IDE is unable to recognize that the installation is done. So I will just once again click over there. Not a problem. Coming back here, so let me go to base.py. Can you see all of these are the modules which are needed? Can you see this? All of these are the modules that are needed. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just copy this. I'll come back here and I will put it over here. So these are the Django related apps that will be automatically in play. It will automatically be included. These apps will be there in my application, right? So this is what I need to configure. See the static files and stuff and all important stuff. Okay. Then do I need local apps, apps.common, apps.seo tools? Well, yes, I'll just bring this local apps. So here, what are the local apps that I have in my apps folder? I've got customers. So I'll say apps.customers. This is the config. See, I'm saying these are the Django apps, but in my application, these are the apps. Within apps, customer. This is what I have. Okay. What else do I need? So installed apps is all in all. These are the installed applications. You see this, I'll say installed apps. I do not have any third-party apps. I'll say whatever my Django apps are plus the local apps. Okay. Then what are the middlewares that we need? All of these are the middlewares which are Django specific. We will talk about middlewares later. Don't worry, I will give you this entire configuration. So don't worry about that. Root URL course. Now, what is the root URLs file which will have the URL configuration, root URL configuration? So this is important. I'll go to my core. Within the core itself, I will create a new Python file called urls.py, and we will come back to this later. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just keep this urls.py, but this is the file that I will refer to. So I'll just, core. Why core? Because core is the folder, core is the package. Within that, I've got URLs. I'll go to paste, see here, course.urls, right? I'm doing the configuration. Now, templates, very important. So it needs to know where the templates will be, from where all I will be getting the templates. What are the templates? These templates are HTML files, exactly as same as how we had done here in case of our, see this, Windows also, you remember, I mean, sorry, Windows. In Spring training also, Spring project also, you remember the templates folder? It is this templates folder in which you have got all your HTML files. Here in Spring Boot, you don't have to explicitly mention which will be the name of the folder, which will have your HTML files. But here we have to configure the name of the folder, which will have our HTML files. Okay, so let me once again minimize this and come back over here. So my HTML templates are here. So I'll just copy this entire thing. This is the configuration we need to do. Now, this OS is not yet, I have not yet taken this OS. So I need to import this OS, paste dir. Sorry. Where's this paste dir coming from? Yeah. So base dir is already configured out here again in the base.py file itself. So I'll just put that base.py over here. Okay. Path comes from environment.path, I believe. Let me check. It comes from pathlib. So I'll take this from pathlib. Okay, so this is perfect. Now, what is this? This is telling Python, my Django application, that this is the folder in which I will be having my app. So marketing campaigns is the name of the folder. So what I'm going to do here is that within apps, within customers, I will create a new folder here, a package rather, a Python package, and I will give the name of the package as templates. In this, I will create my HTML files. Right? So this is what I'm going to configure. So I'll say apps is the main folder. That's the app. Within that, I've got customers. You can see this. And within customers, I've got a folder called templates. So within that templates folder, it will look for the HTML files. Getting it, friends? This is the folder in which it will look for HTML files. And here I will just simply for now give customers.html. I'm giving customers.html and I'll say HTML, just simple. No, I will use I'll say HTML customers. So it automatically brought all of this. I'll give the title as customers. I'll say H1. You remember the body tag that we had created, style, and then font family as Helvetica, and then sans serif. You remember? We did that. And I'll say padding. Also we say 100 pixel. And then I'll say div/div. And here I'll say h1/h1 customers. Okay, a simple HTML, a simple customers.html. So what have I done? I have done some configuration. I have created templates folder. Within that, I have created customers.html. Right? Now I'll go back to my base.py. Let me see if there is any configuration. So to understand that this is the folder from which it is supposed to pick up the HTML files. Let me see if there is anything that I need to configure here. Base.py, Django applications, this is done. And yes, WSGI. Okay. WSGI. Yes, this is how it will start. Okay. So what I'll do is we will go step by step. First and foremost, do the things that I have done. Or else let me complete this entire thing. Anyways, I'm recording this and I urge you all to view the recordings, once we have completed. So let me copy this wsgi.py, which is needed out here in my main application, ws.py. This is the starting point, or rather this defines the application actually. This defines the application. I've got manage.py. This is also something that I will need, manage.py. This manage.py will actually, this is the file which I will be running in order to run my Django application. So here I've got the main folder. Main function will be executed. It will take the name of the module and then it will execute that module here like this. You can see this execute from command line. It will execute the module. Perfect. And this is the module that we have already configured, right? This is the model that we have already configured. Perfect. It's good. Let me check. I understand. आप लोगों को बहुत लोगों को ऐसा हो रहा होगा कि ये क्या चल रहा है, but don't worry, my dear friends, don't worry. Everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in place. I'm just configuring everything right from the scratch. That is the reason. If I were to build a new application from the scratch, even I will not do it right from the scratch and I will copy it, or else I will use some utility which will automatically create all of these things for me. But it's fun doing this right from the scratch. Okay, disconnect. Mongo engine is out here. REST framework is also configured. So let me configure my REST framework also. Spectacular settings. Okay, I'll configure this also. Style files. Pick URL. Let me delete all of this. Sounds good. So I have all of this, and now let me see whether I am able to start my application or not. Friends, you all must know that there is a terminal available here within your IntelliJ itself. You can always click here and go to the terminal. It will automatically pick up the environment. So you don't need to go to your command prompt or terminal from here. You can just simply go here and do it. So you can, there is an option out here, terminal. If you don't find one, you can click here, and then from here you will find that option. Okay, so now let me check whether I can run this. I'll say Python and I'll say hyphen version. Let me check. Yes, I'll say Python. I'll say manage dot py run server. No, there is an error, but I'll be more comfortable looking at the errors from here. I will give you this entire project for you to run on your machines. Don't worry. Okay, there is something wrong. No module named core.settings.development. Okay. The reason being I do not have my development file out here, and that's the reason. So now loggers is missing because I have used logging API. Loggers are missing. Logging loggers backend, and I have used loggers. Okay, let me check. Debug is equal to false. I do not want to use logging or else. I'll have to install this package of logging. Should I install? Let's install it, no problem. So I will have to go here and then specify logging as well. Okay, forget about it. I will not use loggers. That's okay. does not appear to have any patterns. Yeah, that is perfect. See, URLs dot, it's empty. I do not have any patterns. So let me create some, default patterns out there. So this is how you create patterns, my dear friends. You see this URL patterns and the path. Just create the basic ones that are needed. The customers and include apps dot. And if see, I can create URLs application wise also. I can very well create some URLs out here, which will be application wise. So I'll say file URLs dot py. And I will have to create some pattern here as well. Okay, I'll have to do the views and stuff and all. So Python getting started with it will be too overwhelming for you all, isn't it? It's becoming too overwhelming. थोड़ा ज्यादा हो रहा है ना? लेकिन कंप्लीट करता है, कोई भी चीज अधूरी नहीं छोड़नी है, हमको कंप्लीट करना है. सो एक काम करते हैं, यूआरएल पैटर्न्स डिफाइन कर लेते हैं यहाँ पे भी. और then the path is slash, and here I will have to map to the view out here, like the way we have mapped here to the view. यहाँ पे customers, within customers we will have to, or else I'll keep the URLs within the customers. Let me do this. Templates, say yet another package, views. Within that, I will create a new view, customer underscore views.py. And here I will start creating my view. So you see this here, our team has already created some views. So I'll just go to config, config. Was. And in the URLs, I'll explain everything. Friends, so don't worry, please. आप लोग फिक्र view that will be given here will be custom. Now, so I will have to, which I have already done. I have two URLs. I have included apps dot customers dot URLs. It's apps dot customers dot URLs. If I click here, apps customers dot file. Spelling correct. Apps for customers. Seems to be correct. Let's see. Yeah, it works. So my server has started successfully, and now let me see whether that view gets executed on the terminal or not. So what is the port on which this is running? It's 8,000. So I'll say localhost colon 8,000. Right. Okay, there is some error, but then let me check whether at least the print ln is executed or not. Let me check. Okay, perfect. There is no response. So how will it understand that so-and-so is the HTML file that needs to be rendered? How will it actually understand that? So let's see this in our earlier application. We've got subscription views. See, this is what we are supposed to give. Is the name of the HTML? Customers.html, right? That's the name of the file. Customers.html. It will know where to look for. Context is that's fine, and I don't need to specify this context. Status is equal to 200. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, what I'm going to do here is it's already 12:50. I want you all to correct this. There is something called secret key that needs to be set. The secret key settings must not be empty. I'll try just once and then you are supposed to do the rest. Secret. Yes. Wow. The requested resource is not found. Now, what the error is that it does not know how to access. So I'll say customers, uh, customer. See the URL that we have set. So we are very close. We are almost done. We are almost done, friends. Don't worry. URLs, customers slash, and then it goes to URLs. URLs is here. Okay, slash customers. Customers. Yeah. See, you've got customers here. You can see that, friends. This is Django project. Now, we still have 10 more minutes. Let me explain this to the best of my ability. Rest of the things that you will have to explore on your own. So what we have done here is that, see, I have myself done everything right here in front of you. This is the very first time I have ever created a Django application from the scratch. I repeat, this is the very first time I have ever created a Django application from the scratch. I have been creating Django applications, using ChatGPT, using, various different tools. But then today I have done it right here in front of you from the scratch, step by step. Yes, again, I did take help from the existing application. Only those things that are really needed in order to bootstrap a very, very simple Django application. So here you are. Here you are. So once again, I am going to just go here appearance and I say exclude files as off. So see, these are the folders that I have. Now, what is most important here is look at this. The moment I start, first of all, which is the entry point to my Django application? It is manage.py. This is the entry point. From here, it takes the value of this particular, you can see this core.settings.development. It takes, this is the Django module that it will execute. And then you see it starts executing. You can see it's core my import so and so from the line. I need to still further understand this, but then otherwise execute from command line, whatever are the system arguments that you can provide those arguments. But otherwise, this is the module. Where is this module configured? Please see this WSGPY. This is the module that is configured. Can you see this application Django module core.settings.development? It is configured here, right? And this Django settings module, you will find it in core settings base.py. Here you will find the configuration of it, right? Here you will find, and in development.py. Do I need this? Cachers, email backend. Well, that's the application that starts. That's the module core.settings.development. That's what it starts. Now, base.py has got some configurations over here. Very importantly, what I understand here is that these are the two most important configurations, along with the secret key. Otherwise, without this also, it was unable to enter the content. This is very important for us to understand the root URL config. Where are the configuration of all the URLs? See, what have I given over here? Slash customers, isn't it? I've given slash customers. So how does it understand that customers is supposed to map to what? So here core.urls, this is core. Within core URLs, you see this? From here, I'm including customers is the main path. And all the other paths are configured here in apps customers URL. So you've got apps, customers, urls.py. And this is the root itself, slash nothing. That means I've not mentioned anything over here. So just the plain URL, customer slash, that's it. And then here you've got the name as the customer view. And what it is mapped to, this is the route, but it is mapped to which view? This is the view. If I control click on this, it will exactly take me to the view that I have created over here. See this? See this customer view request, and here you are. So I click here, it takes me here, exactly. This is the println statement which will come up here. You see this in customer view. And from here, we are rendering. Request object will be carried forward. And this is the name of the template. See, it's very clearly telling you template name, customers.html. How does it resolve that customers.html is there in the templates folder? How will it know that it is there in the templates folder? Again, in the settings base.py itself, here you will find that there is a configuration out here. You can see this templates. So these are the DIRs in which it will look for the template. So one of the DIRs here, it's an array, see square bracket here. So one of the, okay, let me put it here like this so that it's very much visible to you. See, so one of the DIRs that is configured is the base DIR of my project. Within that apps is the folder, within that customers is the folder, within that templates is the folder. So customers.html will be picked up from that folder. That's how it understands. And it renders. Status 200 means all okay, no errors at all. And it renders the HTML. See here, right here in front of you. Once again, I run the server. Go back here, see refresh, I'm getting customers. And if I go back here, I go to customers.html. And if I just put an HR here, and then customers, if I say management, save it. See, now this will automatically reload. That's what I'm expecting. It will automatically reload. Yeah, it is. Unlike Spring Boot, you're going to restart your application here, it just simply reloads. You just have to say customer. Make some changes and you are here. Brilliant, isn't it? See, so very simple. So we have done the same thing, exactly the same thing. We have done it in Spring Boot, we have done it in Django. Tomorrow we are going to do it in Node, but before that, please spend all of you all can tell your leads, if at all they have given you any task, you can tell them that Shakir has given us some learning tasks. So spend 1 hour on configuring this. I'll give you access to this also. Just a minute. Git ignore folder. Nahi hota isme. Now, see this. I'm putting it on GitHub. So I'll say git init. I will initialize git here. And I'll give git add. Okay. So here I will create yet another repository, friends. New repository, and I'll say kneecaps 3.0 hyphen Django. I'll keep it public. Create repository. Copy this. Yeah. So the entire project is here, friends. Here you go. The entire project is here. I will give you the URL of this. Here you are with the URL. So you don't need this configuration. In fact, I'm giving you the entire repository itself. Repositories, and for Spring Boot also, I'll give you the URL. No authentication is required. Spring Boot. So you have both, friends, with you. You've got Spring Boot project as well as Django. I hope you'll have all created Spring Boot successfully. I want you all to now study Django project that we have created. Right here in front of you, I have done scratch, from the scratch, step by step. There are a lot of things that you will still not understand. I have not understood. There are a lot of things over here, some configuration over here. I do not know the significance of it. ठीक है, जब जरूरत होगी समझ में आ जाएगा. जब जरूरत होगी समझ में आ जाएगा. अभी जितना समझ में आया है, that is sufficient. Just make sure that you understand that the way we do it in Spring Boot, we are doing the same thing here. And tell me one thing, will you be configuring the project every now and then, or you will be spending more time writing HTML and views and APIs? You will be playing over here. You will not be writing base.py and development.py and manage and WSGI. All of this is not what you will be doing every day. Every day on a daily basis, this is where you will be working on, not here. So once and for all, the configuration is done, your application runs. That's it. Now you have to keep on writing code here. That's what we will be doing in days to come. Yes, friends? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Good. So it's all pushed to GitHub. You'll have the repository. Take the pull. Take a break. First of all, your Zohar and your lunch and everything, and then get back to work. Just relax for some time. Take a 1 hour lunch break and get started. We'll meet back tomorrow with Node.js. We'll do exactly the same thing with Node.js. Okay? With Next.js rather, which is a node-based application. All the best to you, friends. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye.